Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
You can't help somebody and put yourself, in a hole.
Lonely people looking for love are swindled more often than you may think.
The FBI reports that in North Dakota alone, nearly $300,000 were stolen last year through romance scams. And that's just the amount of money reported.
Since the crime is so personal, people often don't tell a soul. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter, Nicole Johnson, shows us those with a broken heart and bank account.
They say love makes you do crazy things.
It's just stupid. I'll never do it again.
Everyone has that embarrassing story, but there are tales. Some won't even tell. Ones like this single dad keeps a secret.
You never picture yourself alone forever.
So embarrassing, he doesn't want you knowing who he is.
Just kind of got lonely and thought I'll try a dating site.
Since it seems to be the norm these days, he hopped online, met a woman, felt a spark, and got in too deep. They talked for months, then found out she was stuck in Nigeria and needed money to get back to Fargo because her mom was sick and dying.
Sent her $600 out of my account into her account and went to the airport here at Hector, and she never showed up.
She never showed up. He never heard from her again.
And I actually had feelings for this girl, which was, now looking back on it, really stupid.
They come in and they feel so dumb. They're like, oh, I'm so stupid. And I'm like, well, you've got all these good qualities. It's not it's not a negative thing to want to help people. It's not a negative thing to care about people. But you just have to remember that you're your own best advocate, and you kind of have to look out for yourself too.
It's not just older people falling for these romance scams. We're told it even happens on Tinder or in person across all types of people. The only thing they have in common is that they're lonely.
I don't like being single at this point in my life.
You might call this woman who doesn't want her face shown on TV a vigilante.
I hate that I'm having to be put into that situation, to be honest.
After a divorce, she began responding to personal ads on Craigslist, saying online seems to be the only way to date anymore.
I think that's a fake one. That's my personal opinion.
Unintentionally, she's now an expert at spotting scammers. I found her by responding to her ad, calling out a man she says is posting lies. She even included his picture.
Apparently he saw it, and actually somebody wrote to me and said, it looks like he's taking down all his ads.
Others have thanked her too for standing up for those who might fall for it.
They'll run people through all their checking and savings and retirement and everything. They'll keep going until that person is like, I don't have anything else to give you.
If they say, hello, my dear, that's a red flag for me.
For this single dad, he's moved on. Thankful he only lost a fraction of what some people get taken for.
Gosh, I just feel bad for him. Searching for love. You say, this is who I am. Get taken advantage of.
When it comes to love, we all make mistakes. But don't get caught literally paying for them. Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
Out of all the internet crimes the FBI keeps track of, romance scams came in second as far as money being lost in North Dakota. The top scam is non-delivery and non-payment, meaning the seller or buyer didn't uphold their end of the transaction.
North Dakotans could be voting on expanding Sunday shopping. A group wants to get the matter on the November 2018 ballot. Brandon Medenwald will present ND Open on Sundays measure to the Secretary of State's office tomorrow. He says it would open the door to Sunday shopping, but allows for stores to remain closed if they choose.
A lot of the businesses we've talked to will almost certainly maintain their hours, or the ones that are closed Sunday will still remain to be closed Sunday, even if this law changes. But at the same time, they're still in favor of the law changing because more freedom is better than more restrictions. We believe that religion and family time are very, very important. Our distinction is that we don't like the state choosing when you should be spending time worshiping and when you should be spending time with your family.
Now, for stores operating in malls, if they signed a lease before January 1st of 2019, they would have the right to remain closed and gives them the chance to renegotiate before their lease is up.
4th of July has come and gone, but discussion on whether people living in Fargo should be able to light off fireworks in city limits is up in the air.
Valley News Team's Cornelius Hawker was at Fargo City Hall tonight, where the idea was launched, and he joins us with details. Cornelius?
Mike, Andrea, David Roeder with Memory Fireworks wants the City Commission to take a look at the current ordinance and revise it so it can, in his words, clear up confusion for its customers.
What we are asking is for the City of Fargo to allow the lighting of fireworks within Fargo city limits on July 4th and December 31st, much like our sister city, West Fargo. This request has been driven by customer feedback, which has been increased since West Fargo changed the law a few years ago.
But the idea of lifting the ordinance doesn't sit well with the Fargo Fire or Police Departments, although Police Chief David Todd previously said it may be time to look into changing the ordinance due to the number of complaints called in versus tickets being handed out. Officials say fireworks in city limits can create fire dangers and quality of life issues.
We talk about an ordinance that is not currently being enforced, but it's working. Because over the last 6 years, when I look at our statistical data, we averaged less than 2 fires related to fireworks within the city of Fargo. And over the last 6 years, we've had less than $7,000 of property damage in the city of Fargo related to fireworks.
When you have at least an ordinance in place, it causes people to hesitate or not participate in that activity or take that activity outside of the city limits.
While the commission agreed to take a look at this issue in the future, Commissioner John Strand says he thinks this issue is something the city does not need to touch, citing the concerns by the police and fire department. Mike?
All right, thanks, Cornelius. If you'd like to join in on the discussion, head to our Facebook page. Just search Valley News Live on Facebook and leave your thoughts in the comments section of this story.
The city of West Fargo officially has a new police chief. Heath Yonke, a former special agent with the FBI, had his entire family in attendance for the swearing-in ceremony tonight at City Hall. In taking over, Yonke says that his first step will be to start building relationships.
I got to start building trust both within the police department and within the community. So I want to be out there meeting everyone, showing them who I am, what I believe in, and building that trust so that everyone can come forward to the police department in a time of need and know they're going to be adequately taken care of.
Yonke steps into a position that's been vacant since February, when previous police chief Mike Wrighton was fired after creating what was described by some as a toxic work environment and for overstepping his boundaries.
Police are still trying to find out what exactly happened after a report was called in this afternoon of a gunshot off of 52nd Avenue in South Fargo. They got a call from a woman in the parking lot of Walmart that a man in a vehicle fired a gun at her and left. She described the make and model of the vehicle, and police later stopped one that matched the description on Main Avenue. 2 people, a man and a woman, were questioned, but officers found no evidence that was involved in that incident. They're still trying to find the alleged victim, and if you have any information to share, call them.
A medical examiner says a Minnesota woman who called 911 over the weekend died of a gunshot wound to the abdomen, and the manner of death is homicide.
The police officer who shot and killed her has been identified, and with so little details being shared by law enforcement, it has many in the state scratching their heads. Reporter Adriana Diaz explains.
Questions are mounting about why Justine Demond was shot and killed by police late Saturday night. She'd called 911 after hearing what she thought was a possible sexual assault in an alley near her house. The 40-year-old yoga and meditation teacher from Australia was set to marry Don Demond next month.
Our hearts are broken, and we are utterly devastated by the loss of Justine.
CBS News has learned that Demond, in her pajamas, approached the police car and was standing at the driver's side when Officer Mohammed Noor, who was in the passenger seat with his gun already drawn, shot her through the open driver's window. Don Demond's son spoke about the incident on Facebook.
My mom is dead because the police officer shot her for reasons I don't know.
Investigators say the officer's body cameras were not turned on and the squad car camera did not capture the shooting. Minneapolis Mayor Betsy Hodges.
Well, every officer who is responding to 911 calls is wearing a body camera. If they're having an interaction that falls under the policy for activating them, they need to activate them.
The Minneapolis Police Department was recently equipped with 600 body cameras after 2 officer-involved shootings. including the shooting of Philando Castile.
And the officer just shot him.
Which was streamed live on Facebook.
Noor joined the Minneapolis PD in 2015 as the first Somali officer for the 5th Precinct. He offered his condolences late today to Demond's family. In a statement, both officers involved in the incident are on paid administrative leave.